Hey folks! Today we're talking about one of the most critical players in Golden State Warriors history, Klay Thompson. He's been a cornerstone of their success for years, but the big question on everyone's mind is, how will the Warriors manage without him on the court? Let's break it down. Klay's contribution to the Warriors? Massive. We're talking about a guy who could heat up faster than your phone after an all-night binge of TikTok videos. He wasn't just a sharpshooter though, his defensive skills were top-notch. Klay could lock down an opposing team's best perimeter players while still knocking down threes like he had a cheat code. Remember the Splash Brothers era? Yeah, that was Klay and Steph Curry raining fire from downtown. And you can't forget how smoothly they complemented each other. Thompson's got the rock. He's got that "I'm about to cook" look in his eyes. Johnson's all over him, but Klay's unfazed. Did you see that move? That crossover was nasty. Johnson had no chance. And that release, pure as silk. Klay Thompson is a walking bucket. He's a sharp-shooting machine. But now, with Klay out, things are going to look very different. Without Klay, the Warriors are missing one of their best two-way players. Sure, they still have Steph Curry doing his thing, but losing Klay? That's like trying to play chess without a queen. Offensively, he spread the floor, which gave guys like Curry and Draymond Green room to operate. Defensively, he was always that solid backstop, a guy you could rely on to handle the tough matchups. Golden State has depth, but not everyone can fill Klay's shoes. Those are some big shoes to fill, metaphorically and probably literally too. So the team has to scramble a bit to make up for that. When Klay was on the court last, we got a glimpse of what he still had left in the tank.
Thompson pops out. Keontae runs him down. Little help from Dunn. Clip from the floor. Thompson for three. Hayes passes across to Steph. Here's a quick catch and shoot.
Though his numbers might have dipped slightly post-injury, Klay's presence was still undeniable. His shooting remained lethal. In fact, he wrapped up last season averaging nearly 22 points per game. Not too shabby for someone who's been sidelined by multiple serious injuries. He wasn't just holding his own, he was still a difference maker. But time catches up with everyone. And as much as Warriors fans loved seeing Klay in action, injuries have become a recurring nightmare for him. Which brings us to Curry and Klay together? That's like peanut butter and jelly, smooth and legendary. Their chemistry is off the charts, both as teammates and friends. They know how to play off each other, and for a long time, they made Golden State's offense one of the most terrifying in the league.
Overall, has shot the ball spectacularly here in these playoffs. Thompson hesitated, one dribble, fires, and he
can't shoot pull-up.
Curry launches again!
Green quickly to the front court. Gets it to Thompson for three.
On Green to the basket, kicks it out of Iguodala. Thompson for three, bang!
Steph's leadership will be key now more than ever. He's had to carry the team before, but without Klay in the mix, the burden gets heavier. The Warriors system has been built around these two. So what happens when one half of the Splash Brothers is out? Curry is going to need some serious help. Who steps up? Jordan Poole? Andrew Wiggins? It's up in the air, but that brings us to the coaching side of things. Steve Kerr recently spoke about how the Warriors need to adjust without Klay.
Dempsey's talking about taking 8 to 10 threes per game. Is that too ambitious, or is that actually what?
I like the mentality. Whether it turns into 8 or 10, who knows? But I want Wiggs shooting, 6, 7 threes a game. I want Brandon. I want Moses. I want DeAnthony. I want to be a high volume three-point shooting team. I think that's important for us. And the big shift is Klay's not here, right? So we were fourth in the league in three-point attempts last year, but Klay probably shot 8 or 10 of them himself every game. So we're going to have to fill that void, and that's going to come from multiple people.
And he didn't sugarcoat it. Kerr emphasized that Golden State will have to change their approach, something they've done before, but not at this scale. The offense might become more Curry-centric with more small ball lineups that lean on speed and versatility. Kerr also hinted at leaning heavily on the younger players like Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga. The idea is to fill the gap with a team effort, but as Kerr acknowledged, there's no real replacement for Klay. They have to evolve as a unit, but let's be honest, nobody's expecting that transformation overnight. So, is Kerr's plan going to work? Can the Warriors stay afloat without Klay for what looks like a significant stretch of time? It's hard to say. The Warriors have talent, and they've got the system, but losing a guy like Klay Thompson is huge. It's going to take more than just plugging in some young talent and hoping for the best. The Warriors have experience dealing with adversity, but this feels different. Klay has been a key cog in the machine for so long that playing without him isn't just an adjustment, it's a fundamental shift. If they get off to a rough start, it might become a situation where they lean more into the youth movement, giving more minutes to Poole, Moody, and Kuminga to fast-track their development. That could pay off in the long run, but in the short term, it's not a foolproof solution. Now, finding someone to step into Klay's shoes is no small task. We're talking about one of the best two-way players in the league. But if Golden State is serious about staying in championship contention, it's a conversation that needs to be had. So, who could they target? Let's start with realistic options. Someone like OG Anunoby from the Toronto Raptors comes to mind. Anunoby is a versatile wing who brings solid defense and has improved his three-point shooting every year. He wouldn't replace Klay's shooting numbers, but he'd give the Warriors a strong perimeter defender who can still stretch the floor. Plus, OG is young and fits with the Warriors' timeline if they're thinking long-term with guys like Jordan Poole and Jonathan Kuminga. The downside? Toronto values him highly, so the Warriors would likely need to part with a significant piece. Maybe someone like Andrew Wiggins or multiple first-round picks, which is a hefty price. Another name that comes up is Buddy Hield from the Indiana Pacers. Hield is one of the best pure shooters in the game, and while he's not on Klay's level defensively, he could seamlessly fit into the Warriors' offense. Hield thrives in off-ball situations, which is what Klay was all about. Imagine Curry is still getting doubled and Hield being the open man on the perimeter. That's an offensive dream for Golden State. The main issue with Buddy Hield? His defense. He wouldn't be able to fill Klay's role as a lockdown defender, and that's something the Warriors can't ignore, especially if they plan to keep contending in a loaded Western Conference. If defense is the priority, maybe the Warriors look at someone like Mikal Bridges from the Brooklyn Nets. Bridges is a stellar defender, and his offensive game has blossomed since he moved to Brooklyn. He's not the dead-eye shooter that Klay is, but he's a reliable scorer who can hit open shots and provide elite defense. The issue? Much like with Anunoby, the price will be steep. Bridges is young, under contract, and one of the few bright spots for Brooklyn. The Warriors would have to part with a lot to get him. Now for a dark horse candidate, Caris LeVert from the Cleveland Cavaliers. LeVert is a bit of a wild card, but he has the potential to offer what the Warriors need: scoring, playmaking, and enough defensive ability to hold his own. He's not as consistent as someone like Anunoby or Bridges, but he's versatile. The Cavs might be willing to part with him for the right package, and he wouldn't be as expensive as some of the higher profile targets. But here's the thing, trading for any of these guys would come at a cost. The Warriors would likely need to include someone like Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, or even Wiggins to make the salary match. Plus, they'd have to think about the future. Are they willing to sacrifice part of their young core for a win-now move? And even if they do pull off a trade, would the new player be able to gel with Steph Curry and Draymond Green fast enough for a deep playoff run?
I don't know. I haven't really been able to process the feelings. This morning, or not even this morning, maybe earlier today, I think I might have dropped a couple tears, tear or two. You're just kind of sitting there thinking, and then I came across Steph's story and saw the pictures. And it was very interesting to me when I was going through Steph's story. I went through it a couple times, and it was just it was crazy to me how many of the pictures that he posted that I was also in. And so seeing that was man, it taking me back to the beginning though. When it all started and none of us really knew that it would end up being this, what it became.
Having Klay head on to Dallas, it's tough. It's something that I never imagined would be a reality, but you want him to be happy, you want him to be able to enjoy the game of basketball. It does suck losing Klay. There's no two ways around it.
When the season starts next year, it's going to be really weird. And I know we're all going to have that date circled when he comes back to Chase, and that will be one of the strangest, most emotional nights of all of our careers, for sure.
In the end, folks, while the Warriors can strategize and adapt, Klay's absence leaves a noticeable gap. How Steve Kerr and the team handled this challenge will define this season. Is it going to be smooth sailing? Probably not. But with Curry leading the charge and Kerr steering the ship, they'll do what they always do: fight. How far that takes them without Klay? We'll just have to wait and see.